Hey guys, it's Jamie here from the Booking Factory. Now in this video, I'm going to give you an in-depth overview of the booking screen, which is where you'll be spending the majority of your time within the Booking Factory. Before we go ahead, it's worth noting that if you check out this icon in the right-hand corner of the screen at the bottom and click it, this allows you to get live help from the Booking Factory team. It could be worth your while keeping a pen and paper at hand during this video to jot down any questions that you might have. Okay, let's close that. Okay, so this is the main booking screen, and as you'll probably notice straight away, it's laid out like a calendar. At the top of the screen, we have our days of the week, and we can scroll forwards in time. And we can scroll back in time. You can do that using the trackpad if you're using a laptop, and you can also click these icons here to do that. If you look down the left-hand side of the screen, we have our rooms and the room number. Now these are fully customizable, so let's say for instance that you've named one of your rooms the King Arthur room, and you've named room number 2 the Merlin room. Well, that will show up here on the side, fitting to your hotel. Now, say for instance that you have a lot of rooms in your hotel and you want to see everything on screen. We have a zoom function here. Let's just zoom out to show you this. As you can see, the more we zoom out, the more rooms we can fit on screen. So it's good if you want to get a quick glance and see where bookings have been made. Now, as we zoom out, we do lose a good bit of detail in these bookings. You still get the gist, and they are color coded to give you specific bits of information, which we'll go into very soon and sort of talk through and explain. Okay, let's zoom back in. Now, next to the zoom function is this box which reads date. This is great if you want to jump to a particular date quite quickly. So say for instance, we have a customer, they've just come into the hotel and they want to book the bank holiday off in August. They're going to arrive at the hotel, let's have a look. So that would be, so they want to arrive on the 25th. We simply click the number 25 and we're taken to that day here, and we can create a new booking. Now, I'm not going to go into creating a new booking yet and how to do that. Let's just carry on with the overview and then we'll get to that very soon. Now, a little quick tip here, just to go back to the current week that we were on before, rather than using the scroll function here and clicking back a lot, or jumping back to the date and navigating and finding it, if you simply click on the bookings tab here, it will return you back to the current week. Now also, another good thing about the Booking Factory is obviously if we scroll back in time, we have a history of all our bookings, which could be good if you want to dig through old bookings and find some information. Now if we look at the top of the screen here, we might notice that some dates have a little star symbol next to them. Let's have a look at this one. Large wedding nearby, high demand. So on particular days of the week, we can leave ourselves or other people that work at the hotel notes. So here we can see that we may have an influx of visitors on that day. Now it's very easy to leave a note. Simply get to a new date, and we have this option here pop up, as you can see, a little pen and paper. Click that, and the add note pop-up will appear. So on this date, say for instance there's a local fair, we can put that in here. And then all you need to do is hit save. And as you can see, the star has appeared along with the note. You can also post notes on rooms as well. So here, let's have a look at this executive double room, broken shower. So someone has left a note on here to say that the shower is broken in that room. And exactly the same, say for instance, I know it's a particularly bad week and we discover a broken shower in the next executive double room, we can simply add note here and just like before, fill that in. But in this instance, we're good. We don't have a broken shower, so I'm going to cancel that. Now, you may also notice on screen here that we have broken shower written where a booking could be made, along with repair shower here. Now, that allows that room not to be booked, either a booking coming in from booking.com or someone manually inputting a booking through the Booking Factory software, as we can't click on that and make a booking. It's been blocked. So let's say, for instance, okay, we have discovered another broken shower in the executive double room. In order to block off a room, simply right-click in this space and then hit block room and input a reason here. Okay, but as I said, in this instance, we don't want to report another broken shower, so let's click cancel. Now, as I highlighted earlier, down here we have our rooms of the hotel. If we keep scrolling down to the bottom of the screen, we can see two other areas. One is the holding area, and the other is cancelled rooms. Now, let's talk about the holding area, because this one, I don't want to say it's complex. There's a little bit of logic here for the reason why we might want to use the holding area, so let's talk that through. Okay, let's head up to our bookings. Okay, so let's say, for instance, that a new customer comes into the hotel and they want to book a standard double room on the 14th of June, and they want it for 2 nights. But here we can see a little bit of a problem. Agent Cooper is booked into a standard double on that day. Wilson here is booked into a standard double that day too. But we do have a gap here, but the following day, Davis is using the room. So there's two things we could do in this instance, and both involve this menu here. Say we right-click on Wilson, we are given the option to quick move. Now in this instance, we don't actually need to use the holding area. This has worked out quite well. We can move Wilson to room 7, and then this standard double room is free for the next 2 nights. So the customer that we have in front of us in the hotel who's asking for this room on the 14th can get the standard double room for 2 nights, no problem. Let's pop Wilson back. But let's say, for instance, just for argument's sake, that in this blank area here, we also had a booking, and we had a lot of other bookings running down this page. It's a very busy day, the 14th. Now, we might be able to juggle things around like we just did, but we might not be able to, and that's where the holding area, well, that's one reason where the holding area comes in handy. So say, for instance, this is all fully booked. We could pop Wilson for the moment in the holding area at the bottom, so Wilson is here. And that gives us one more sort of box to play with in order to juggle other customers about, in order to then move Wilson back into a room after that juggling is complete. Now, it's a little bit complicated, and it's only really going to come in handy if you've got a lot of bookings here and you need to juggle some customers around, and you need one extra block free to kind of keep one customer out of the way while you juggle the other customers around before moving them back in. So you probably won't, you may not be using that feature much, but it's a handy tip to know if you are very busy and you need to juggle those bookings. Now, there's a second reason a customer might come into the holding area. Now, obviously, the Booking Factory, syncs up with booking.com as well as Expedia. And say, for instance, a booking is made on one of those websites. Now, obviously, those websites aren't going to double book rooms for you, but if the system recognises that you might be able to juggle some rooms around in order to fit a customer in, they'll pop into the holding area, and that way then you can then juggle the customers around manually to make that booking fit and make sure that you bring that profit into your hotel. Okay, so next let's have a look at the colour coding that we've got here, because as you can see there's quite a lot of colours on screen, and these all tell us things very quickly about a certain booking, so they're really handy in that sense. So firstly, let's draw attention to the numbers in the booking corners. So here we can see minus 396 in red. Here we can see minus £76.50p in orange. And here on Jack's booking, we can see £0 in green. Now what the number tells us is how much a customer has left to pay on their booking. So here Jack, happy days, he doesn't owe us anything, he's paid his outstanding balance in full, and that's why it's green. The next two customers haven't paid their remaining balances, but we've got two different situations here. Firstly, Gary has paid part of his booking, and that's why we're seeing the minus amount in orange. Now, this may happen as well. Say, for instance, Gary had used a voucher for his booking and that had taken some of the cost of the booking down. Again, we'd see the rest of the outstanding balance in orange. And finally, we have Hendrix, who hasn't paid any of his booking yet. And that's why we've got the full amount minus £396 in red. So Hendrix needs to pay up. Now, the colours of the boxes inside, so let's have a look here. Hendrix, his box is white. Over here, Grant's box is green. And that's because Grant has checked out of the hotel and Hendrix is yet to check in. So green for a customer that's checked out and white for a customer that's checked in. Now over here, all in red to really grab your attention, Owen has actually checked out of our hotel and hasn't paid his balance yet. So not only have we got minus £110 in red, but his whole box is red, alerting you that you need to chase his payment through an invoice or a telephone call, alerting you that you really need to chase that payment. Now, there's one other colour here on screen that doesn't really fit into our sort of traffic light coding system. If we have a look at Grant's booking here, minus £99 in blue. And if we have a look at Paul's booking down here, minus £60 in blue. Now, what that shows us is this booking is a corporate booking and a company is paying for the booking rather than the individual that's staying in the room. Now, a little bit later, I'll show you how to set that up in a booking so we can see that it is a corporate one, but we'll leave that for now. What's important at this moment is you just understand the colour system, because it's a really handy tool of seeing what's happening in each room regarding payments and checking in and checking out at a quick glance. Also, it's worth noting that if you want to check someone in, let's say for instance that Agent Cooper has turned up at our hotel today, simply right click and here we have the option to check in Agent Cooper. And there we go. As you can see, green for having checked in, but red because Agent Cooper is yet to pay his £99 fee. Okay, so as far as navigating the booking screen goes, that's a pretty comprehensive overview, and that'll certainly give you a lot to work with starting off. Now let's move on to booking management. Okay, so let's take a look at booking management. Now, let's start this off by creating a booking. That's pretty important. Say for instance we've just had a phone call from a customer, or a customer has turned up in our hotel and they want to book a executive double room for Friday the 17th of June, and they want to run that through to Sunday the 19th. So to create a booking here, we can see that we're currently in our executive double room and there's one free on the 17th all the way through to the 19th. So simply left click and drag, and then let go of left click. And now we can create our booking. So as you can see here, this is automatically filled in the check-in date and the check-out date, as well as the number of nights. Our available room rates for this customer is base rate. It's automatically filled in and it's an executive double and it's room number 2. And here we can toggle between the amount of adults and children staying in the room. So to create this booking, simply fill in the details. And also here we have the option to add a phone number, any requests that the guest has asked for, and we can also enter their card details here now. In this instance, we'll leave their card details for the moment. And there we go, simply select book. And Laura Palmer has been booked into the hotel. And as we can see, she's yet to check in, and she has an outstanding balance of £330. Now, there's lots of options in regards to booking customers. To load that up for each individual customer, simply click on their booking just once. And as you can see, the first thing we're met with here on this list of tabs is rooms. And we have our reference number and then all the details about the booking. And we can go into options here. So for instance, we wanted to edit some of the details, or if we wanted to cancel a room. Down here, we can add rooms. Say for instance, Laura wants to book in one of her friends. Click add room. And once again, we're greeted with this screen, with this filled out. Now we can choose available room type. Let's give them an executive double 2. And we've got a few of these available. Let's put them in room 8. And once again, you'll be asked to fill in their details. And then once again, we have the option for phone number and guest request. But we don't have an option for credit card. So say for instance, we put in Laura's credit or debit card, it would go on her booking as well. Let's click save. Now let's exit this a moment. And as we can see here, Audrey is staying on the 17th, as well as Laura. Let's click back into Laura's booking. Now we also have the option to cancel all rooms. So I showed you before on options, we have the option to cancel a room. Right here in red, say for instance Laura and Audrey both decided to not turn up at the hotel, we can click cancel rooms. Now the next tab on here is extras. Pretty self-explanatory. We can add extras here to a room. Say for instance, they fancied some flowers in one of the rooms. And we can alter the price. So they're after some particularly expensive flowers, £25. And we can click this little tick here to save that. Now if we jump back over to rooms, so as we can see here on extras, we've got £25. Next up is discounts. So say for instance, this is a regular customer discount that we have running in the hotel. We can click add discount and we have regular already here. 10%. Click save. So here 10% of the booking price has been deducted, which comes as £46.50. Next up is customer. So if you remember earlier on the video, I mentioned that a number in blue represented a company booking. And you can do that here by selecting company, and that'll let you know that the company is footing the bill. Let's leave it on guest. So here we can input a billing address along with mobile phone and work phone numbers. Okay, next up is invoice. As we can see here, an invoice is ready. Now the Booking Factory is designed to be an all-in-one solution, so you don't have to hop to another piece of software to draw up your invoice. We'll pull all the data that you've put into the Booking Factory in order to create a smart and nice looking invoice for you to send off to your client, customer. So here we can see the invoices for Laura Palmer. We can see that Laura Palmer is here in her room, and we've got the bill for Audrey as well. Total comes to £440. We have the extras here that we added, which is the flowers and our regular customer discounts. If we scroll back up to the top of this part of the pop-up here, we can either save this as a PDF, say for instance we want to email Laura, or we can print it out for her in person, or to send over to a home address. Okay, next up we have payments. So say for instance that Laura had provided us her credit card details or debit card details, we'd have the card here and we'd only be able to see the last 4 numbers for security reasons, but we'd be able to then charge that card. In this instance, Laura is providing us with her card details now, so simply click add new card and we can put the details in here. Now, as we can see here on the card icon that's now been added, As I explained before, we can just see the last 4 digits for security reasons. We also have this options tag. So we can show card information, or we can remove cards. Now, normally as well, you'd also have the option here to charge the card. Now, I've entered, for the purpose of this video, a fake card. You may have guessed by the long strings of ones in the card number. So normally here, we'd have the option to charge card. You'd simply click it, and the card would be charged. Now, finally, on this payment page, we also have the option to add manual payments. This is great. Say, for instance, your customer wants to pay in cash and you want to log it on the system. You simply in type, select cash. We can add a description, paid in person for the amount £418, and we tick that here and click save. And as you can see, we have a note here that the customer has paid for their room. Let's click on email here. We can also send an email to our clients. So jumping back in the process here, say a few days earlier on, before Laura's paid for a room, but she's asked to make the booking. She's provided us with her email address, so we can send a nice email with a custom footer to say, thanks for booking the room, and provide the confirmation dates. This will send out a smart looking email, which is a bit more formal than just firing one off from your inbox. Finally, for the last tab here, we have history. And this just provides us a history of everything about this booking and what the customer has done. So we can see that new bookings were made here. And finally, a manual payment of cash was paid here. Now, say for instance, you've got a couple of people working on your system and you want to find out when or why a person moved a room, or if a person has already sent an invoice to a customer, you've got all that information here to make sure that there's no hiccups. Say for instance, you don't want to send out a second invoice, or as I said, you want to try and work out why a room was moved. Looking through the history, could solve that problem. Finally here, you can also see the summary. We've got the green because we've just paid for this booking, but obviously if there was money due, we'd also see that here with the relevant color coding. Red if nothing had been paid, or orange if a part payment had been made for the room. And that's it. That's an overview of the booking screen. Now, obviously there's a lot more to the booking factory, including the ability to sort of manage your whole hotel website from within this package, but that is for another time. I hope that this video has been helpful for you. As I mentioned before, you can use this icon here to chat with anyone from the booking factory. So if you do have any questions about anything in this video, please get in touch. We've designed this system to be as user-friendly as possible, but we understand obviously getting started with something can be a bit complicated. So please give us a shout if you want to know anything extra. In the meantime, I'm Jamie from the Booking Factory. Thank you very much for watching.